Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Medium's Table. I'm your host, Michelle Gardner. This podcast is your personal invitation to join me at the intersection of the everyday and the extraordinary. Together, we'll explore the magic of mediumship, share spiritual stories, and connect with fellow mediums on this incredible journey. So grab a seat, pour yourself a cuppa, and come join us at the Medium's Table, where spirits gather and stories unfold. Disclaimer, just a heads up to all our lovely followers. Our social media is a space where we share personal stories, including those of various mediums. Let's keep the vibe positive and respect each other's beliefs. Every journey is unique, and here we celebrate the diversity of experiences. I'd like to welcome back to the show a panel of mediums. Now, we've got a new panelist here, being Karen. So welcome, Karen. Now, you have done interviews with me before, but you've never been on a panel. So welcome to a panel.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yes. And this is kind of like a take two of our angel encounters. Now, we did one about a month ago with different mediums, and you've all got so many stories that they're all, they all need to be shared. So let's do another panel of mediums. And I'm probably going to honestly say this won't be the last one on angel encounters, because there are so many stories, miracles, experiences that so many people have been having with angels. And here I am. If you watch the first episode, and again, no rotten tomatoes, please be kind. I'm not a believer in angels. I believe that you believe. But I've never experienced them. And I think that's what it is, because I have not personally had that experience or felt like, oh my God, that was an angel, that I'm just sort of like, it's a being. Perhaps it's a light being. And maybe it's my, literal thinking, I don't know. But that's just where I'm at. So forgive me, those who are firm angel believers. But I do believe in miracles, light beings, and amazing spiritual entities that may come through that help us in our everyday life. So without further ado, welcome, guys. And let's start with Karen to share what it is that she does.
I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm a medium. I'm also a Reiki master. And of all things in the helping profession. I've had almost 40 years experience. I've seen so many spiritual stories. It's amazing. And each one that I have, it just revalidates the fact that there are angels out there. And no, it wasn't something I just made up. They were real.
Karen, I believe you've also written some books. Do you want to hold up a book that you've written?
Yes, and another one I've written is called Flashes of Brilliance. It's about my story with my angel guides, which they come as rabbis to me, but they're really angels. This is Shelter in the Forest. I don't know if you can see that.
That's all right. I'll overlay the book when I do the editing.
Discovering the Power of Intuition. I really got into angel information when I went on my thoughts into intuition and went to many conferences and saw how intuition really helped people in their lives. And I think it's connected to the angels as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. And Karen has written other books. I will put those links in the description so you can find them easily. She's been a busy, busy girl, I can tell you. Thank you, Karen. Kim.
Well, hello there. Thank you for having me here with you, all of us. And I'm Kim Liddell, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I am a practicing medium.
Thank you, Kim. Jeannette.
Hi, good evening. Jeannette, and I am a evidential medium, and I do a lot of trance work. Also do past life regression and some hypnosis. My background really is in therapy, so it really kind of segued in the second part of my life to mediumship, and they really mingle well together. It's a good blend. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And Jeannette does a regular monthly segment on our show, on the podcast, called Unlimited Connections, where she goes into a trance state and she connects to, geez, I don't know, sometimes one, sometimes multiple beings. I don't even know what to call it, because I sit here with my jaw going, what? Okay, I didn't expect that.
Let me just clarify this. I connect with multiple spirit beings, so don't get any ideas. They want to keep this clean. PG. Okay.
Yes. And so every month you can see those. But again, all of the mediums here today have done episodes with me, multiple episodes, and also been in other previous panels of mediums. So I will put each one of those episodes in the description, so you can go back and find those on your favorite podcasting platform. Now, without further ado, angel encounters. I love hearing the stories, regardless of my belief. That's irrelevant, because the stories are amazing and miraculous. And I can't wait to hear what you've got to share with us today, Karen.
Well, actually, it's a really happy story. And I was growing up and I had a lot of trauma. There was a lot of dysfunction and mental illness in the family. Parents got divorced when I was 6. And before that, there was a lot of domestic violence at our house. And my father was the one who would deliver the bad news. So one day he threw me down the stairs, and thank God there was like clothes on the bottom of the stairs. And so it broke my fall. And I just asked God, I said, please, God. I was very religious at the time. I had pictures of God in my room. I was just very, very religious. And I'd say, please, God, just take me, because I don't want to live like this. I don't want to, just keep being hurt and everything. And a few minutes later, I saw an angel. And everybody says, oh, you must have been like, in an altered state. I said, I must have been in something, because it was a beautiful angel and his name was Ishmael. And Ishmael just said to me, Karen, you're not going to die, little girl. You're going to grow up one day and write a book about helping children with abuse and the after effects. That you have a purpose and a plan for your life. And for me, it was a very loving thing. It was very comforting. It gave me peace. It gave me something to do. So why want to hurt myself when I can do something for the world? So part of me has made the commitment that day that I was going to take my life and do the positive with it, even though the negative was happening. And I'm going to go forward. So for me, it was my way of the angel connecting me to life and to a purpose and a plan. And the angel was kind, and the angel made sense to me. And so all through my little grade school and elementary school, I would visualize the angels to come with me. I felt like they protected me. I walked everywhere. We're talking about New York and Long Island. It's like I walked everywhere. No one ever bothered me. No one ever said, no one ever bothered me at all in any way. I felt totally protected. And that when I had stuff happen good at school, I would put the circle of the angels around me and I would say, I did this, and they would clap. And I was like, yeah, I got the angels. And I felt like it was a beginning of a different life, of a spiritual life, and that they were with me all the time. And they did clap for me. And I have angel guides now who are rabbis. See, I've studied Kabbalah. So for me, they come as rabbis, and they also make me laugh like you wouldn't believe, and try to teach me that that I should be confident about who I am. But they don't want me to cry. They don't want me to cry anymore, because they said, you've had enough crying. You need to be laughing. So they started making me laugh. I always call them. And Rabbi Nachman is one of Breslov, is one of the angels, one of the project managers on my rabbi team. And he is a very wise, and he was in the 1800s, and he dealt with a lot of depression back in the 1800s. So they had people who were depressed back then, and they had people trying to help. And he would just say, never give up, never give up. So that's what it is with me, never give up, and I'm going to go forward. So these angels guided me. They laughed with me. They told me truths with me. And the angel guides are my loving family to me. And I've also heard that Archangel Michael also has come to children who've been abused and who are alone, and that how they came and protected them from the bad things. And actually, as an adult, Archangel Michael still helps one of these people, and he is, because if you try to get in her space, there's something Archangel Michael says, nope, you can't go any further. So I believe her. And I just want you to know angels are real. They do come to protect you. They do come to help you. They give you a sense of purpose, and they allow you to live a life that's not steeped in deep darkness. So they bring in the light. And nobody should steal that light, because with that light, that propels me to become a social worker. And I can't fix my family, but I sure can fix myself. And the angels gave me proof, and they gave me light and love and the laughter, which was missing from my life at that point. So they tell good jokes.
And that's I love that, Karen. And the fact that, and you are such an inspirational person with every story you tell, and you've had so much trauma in your life from a very, very early age, and to come out of it on top and not be a victim. And I understand for some people, they don't know how to move forward, but you have found that way of moving forward. And like you say, with the help of the angels. And I love the fact that they have given you the information you needed to have your purpose, to find your purpose. You are the purpose. And how many people have you helped because you chose to listen and you chose to live?
In my practice, I always ask God to help heal. I'm a healer, so I ask God to help heal. I've seen him take people that were not in a good way, and they became functional, and they became human to themselves, and they forgave themselves, and they used proper help to feel better. And when I was a little girl, I would just cry out to the sky, please help, somebody help, somebody help. So they did hear me, and they did respond. So I just want you to know, it may seem like it's time to go to the end, but it really isn't. It's time to go forward and just live that life. And I'm doing that because I want to, and because I can help others with my skills, experiences, and also my joy.
Yeah. And also your stories, because your stories are just proof and evidence right there that, without them coming to you, you may not be here. And because they presented themselves and shared that information that, you needed to keep going. Just, it's amazing. It's amazing. And how many people you've helped. Like I said, you've helped so many people, an enormous amount of people. So you really are a brilliant light on this earth, just amazing. So thank you, Karen. Kim.
Well, I have two stories to share. First one was almost 40 years ago with a young lady. And at that time, I was working full time, and I left work. And yes, I was driving. I used to drive at one time. So I'm at a busy intersection, and this intersection is laid out where the road that's perpendicular at the intersection is at an angle. So I am in the left-hand turn lane waiting for the signal to, change so I can go. But at the same time, the way the road is angled, the other road is angled, I can see their light too. So I can see their light is green, the cross traffic. And looking back now, I really do believe it was an angelic intervention because I zoned out. I never had done that before. I zoned out. I I guess you would call it I was in a trance. So I was in a trance, but at the same time I was aware. I saw the other light change from, green, yellow, red, and I saw my light turn green, but I didn't go. I was at a standstill, stuck in this zoned out space. And next thing I know, a car just went flying through at high speed,
Oh,
and then as soon as the car passed, I came out of the trance. I was stunned and I was like, oh my gosh, if I was not zoned out, I would have been in the middle of the intersection trying to make my left hand turn and I would have been T-boned. So, and I'm getting chills talking about it now. Did I see an angel? No. Did I really feel an angel? No. But I do feel strongly that was an intervention, of some kind. It wasn't meant to be, to get hit.
Yeah. Wow. I got chills on that one too, Kim.
Well, and the funny thing is, I'm the kind of person that had a heavy foot. I'm like, let's go. As soon as the light goes, I'm gone. I don't wait. So I had a heavy foot, and I was like Speedy Gonzalez.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's yeah, that's narrow. That's too close for comfort, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And it was just a matter of seconds. Just a
Yeah.
matter of seconds. You know. The
Wow.
second story was more recent, maybe a year and a half ago or so. I was sleeping and I woke up between 2 and 3 in the morning, that witching hour, they
Yeah.
call it, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I was uncomfortable because my sciatic nerve was flaring up a little bit because it was, decompression, the compression of the muscles. So I was working on relaxing and stretching, and I was trying to be very quiet while my husband is sleeping next to me. And I started going through assigning angel jobs to angels. I'm like, Angel, I need you to go help this person. Angel, I want you to help that person. Angel, do this. Angel, do that. And I went through a long list of people. And by that time, I got up and I had moved to the floor and I brought my phone with me and I put it face down. And I remember checking the time, and then just putting it face down. It wasn't playing anything or anything like that. And I'm just laying on the floor. And then by the time I finished going through all of my angel requests, I finally thought, oh, I need to ask something for me. Right? And angel, show me that you are here with me. So I'm working through the exercises, stretching, releasing the compression on my sciatic nerve. And And then, of course, I stopped thinking about the angels, right? I was done going through all the angel requests, to help other people. And then, of course, the last request for myself. Next thing I know, I hear music playing. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to wake my husband up. Where's that music coming from? I was so confused. It was like, is it the echo device going on? You know, is it somebody's alarm? Did I lose track of time? And then I realized, oh my gosh, music is coming through the Bluetooth in my hearing aid. I had the iPhone Bluetooth to my hearing aid. So once I realized that, I'm like, oh. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should listen to the song. So I listened to the song and then I recognized it. Oh, it's Ariel Speedwagon. I'm like, oh, cool. Right. And then I hear the phrase, here with me. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's an angel next to me.
Yeah, wow.
So I was blown away. I still get, oh yeah, I can feel the energy around me, the movement, and but it's a joyous feeling that I'm feeling around me. I feel so much joy right now, and it's just so amazing that I don't know. I just thought, when you put a request in, it might take weeks or months, to get a response. I mean, talk about being knocked over by a feather if I was standing, to get a response within a matter of what, minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
and through a
that
song,
was
and
special.
yeah, definitely. And so personalized for you, that confirmation that you needed, and how beautiful through a song.
I just thought it is. I just thought it was so funny. I'm like, Angel, show me that you're here with me. And then he played this, the song is played here with me. So I thought,
Yeah.
this is funny. This is funny.
Yeah, I love that. But like you say, there's so much emotion behind it as well, because it is such a huge confirmation when that happens. And like you say, so quickly. You didn't have to wait weeks or months. There was no queue at the angel request line. It was instantaneous. Just about. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was amazing. It still brings, tears of joy to me. So
Yeah. Oh, and for those that don't know, or maybe wondering why Kim said she was driving, then she's not driving. So Kim's actually now legally blind. So hence why she used to drive and now she doesn't. And an amazing medium. And for those out there that may have disabilities, don't let that stop you, because look at Kim. Again, another inspirational medium that we have amongst us. Very inspirational. Wow. Thank you, Kim. Thank you.
thank you.
Jeanette.
Wow, as I'm sitting here listening to her story, yeah, what a beautiful story, Kim. And she is totally an inspiration. And unless I think Michelle tells you, unless you've been watching the Medium channel, as you should have been, you yeah, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. Yeah, so I don't have my tissue box with me, and I hope I can get through this story without using it. Anyway, I've had a lot of occurrences throughout my life, but the best one that I can share with anyone is my daughter. We're going back like 14 years now. She's at the University of Miami. She's doing great, enjoying her first year. And my husband and I are very proud. We're doing our lives, and she gets mononucleosis. So we go to an urgent care. They put in an IV. I mean, she couldn't swallow. She was that big. The urgent care had only been open 2 weeks, and we wanted something immediate. It was going to be a lot faster than the hospital. So they pump her with an IV with antibiotics, which ends up burning her ulnar nerve. There's something out there called complex regional pain syndrome. When your nerves are somehow damaged, they then become hyperactive. So the slightest touch, or even when the air conditioning turns off, if the AC hits her cheek, it'll hurt these people. We went to a symposium with this one neurologist who said he came on stage with a blowtorch, and he said, the best way I can explain it to the audience, it's as if these patients, you were taking a blowtorch to their skin. That's what they feel. It has the highest
Wow.
suicide rate associated with it of any other illness. Back then, what they did was just basically they hit her with morphine and everything else. She and this happened within 3 days. I think like by day 2, she's like, I feel like ants or something on my hand and like a tingling going up my arm. Within 2 weeks, I took her back then. She was still with her pediatrician, and she's like, oh, it'll wear off, it'll go away. And by week 3, her arm was in this what they call the bird wing position, you know, and it's all the muscles are contracted, and she couldn't move it. She needed help bathing, she needed help going to the bathroom. And so then starts our whole thing of going from one place to another internationally, here within the United States, everywhere, to see what they knew about this. And again, they were just treating it with narcotics. The narcotics would mask the pain, but she'd be sleeping and you could still see her facial grimaces of pain. And I think she was in her second semester at the university. She pretty much missed the entire semester. She was bedbound within a month and a half. We started to go to physical therapy. My husband somehow, you know how things happen, and I believe angels put people in things, synchronicity. He randomly ran into somebody who was working in the Dominican Republic, and he was at dinner with somebody who had a friend who was there, not part of their group, but he was a neurologist, and he happened to be now working in Miami. So we went to see him here in Miami, and he said, no, what I've been seeing is the best thing is take him off all that medication, because it's just making the nerves even more confused, and then start a desensitization program, which means a very slow, bit by bit retraining of the nervous system. So we started with that physical therapy. Physical therapy for my daughter used to be basically just putting the palm of her hand up against the wall for 1/1000 of a second. This went on. So I became full-time, I call it really like torture with her, because she would go pale. Many times she'd fall on the floor, pass out. As we incrementally began to do more and more of all of these different treatments, I would touch her for 1 to 2 seconds until I could increase it 2 to 3. Finally, we went to another individual here who she was a hand specialist, but brilliant physician here in Miami. And she said, let's get her in a pool, because at that point, your entire body has the sensation of the tactile and a heated pool. She was very much about kind of recreating the nervous system, reconnecting it with what it feels like in the womb and when it's developing. This went on for like months and months. My mom, who lives with us, when I would do these treatments for Brianna, mom used to get in her car with the radio blasting in the driveway because she couldn't stand the screaming. I basically would pray constantly that God would give me the strength to do this. It's the last thing you ever want to do is hurt your child. So I had to just really lock down any of that emotion and empathy with her in order to get through her. And that in and of itself, I know I had tremendous amount of help with. So one of these nights, and again, back to Kim, and 2, 3 in the morning, I think it was always at 3 in the morning. I wake up and the house is silent. So it's not like anything is alerting me. And I'm feeling literally like a pull, almost magnetic, to go to my daughter's room. She's maybe 30 paces down the hallway. And I'm like, okay, open the door. As soon as I opened the door, there was something in the air, an electricity. It felt that there was something there. It felt elevated. And I thought, okay, I don't know what this is, but I'm here. I tend to kind of just go with these things when I'm led and not question them until they're over. And I was told, take her arm. And she's sleeping, like this, right under a sheet, because she couldn't handle the covers. And I'm like, I can't touch her. You couldn't touch her. Like, take her arm. And again, I was propelled to do this. And okay, I grabbed her hand, and then they said, extend it. So she's lying flat in bed. And I extended her arm. Her arm had not been extended for at least 7 months. So I'm freaking out, really. I'm freaking out, but I'm getting more direction. Okay, now take her arm and put it up and down. She didn't do these things in therapy. Like I'm saying, therapy was to touch something. She had gotten to something called like letters. So she would choose that letter S, and that was it. And then open and close it and do this. And while I'm doing this with her, I'm watching her face to make sure I don't do more harm, because I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is that she hasn't been able to do this. So she's completely relaxed. There's no tension or muscle tonality. I'm like, okay. So I go through this whole thing. I come back into my room. It's been 40 minutes. I look at the clock. I'm like, wow, okay. The next morning, I'm thinking, okay, maybe, she'll wake up and her arm. Nope. She's like, I didn't share this with my husband because he was an attorney and a CPA and a businessman, totally other side of the brain, right? Plus, we had enough stress going on as it was to throw that curveball in there. Second night, it happened again. I wake up, okay, I go over there. Now I'm more confident. I feel the same sensation. I think electrifying is the best way. I don't know how else. I felt lifted. I can tell you that emotionally, my spirit felt like somebody, had taken a weight off of my shoulders when I walked into that room the second night. Went through the whole thing, open her arm, open her hand, do this so many times, let it down. The next morning, same thing. There was no response, no change. I had notebooks of what time I was doing stuff, what changed, what happened. I was keeping track of everything so we could see what factor was making any sense, what was helping us. This went on for 5 nights in a row. Okay, by night number 4, I have to tell my husband. I go, hey, I need you to come with me to breathe. I don't give him a heads up either, right? Because why? I'm like, hey, wake up. What's happening? Somebody bring it. I go, no, I want you to come with me. What's wrong with her? What's wrong? No. I just need you to see. And he's like, what? Anyway, so he goes, and when I go to grab her, he's like, and I'm like me and the angels got this. Because I knew at that point that that's what it had to be. There was nothing that said I'm angel this and I'm angel that, but I'm like, it's the energy. Like, I wish I had words. I have no words for it. So he's watching this. His eyes are just getting bigger. And he's like, he can't believe that she's doing all this. Obviously, I'm helping her, right? But she's going through all of these movements. So we finish. Now they're each an hour long. We come back into the room. He's like, what was it? I go, I don't have any idea. But I'm thinking that there's got to be part of some plan. Okay. I'm hoping that there's going to be some end game. So Friday, I think it was Monday. A couple, her friends were great. The ones from college, they would come and keep her company and be there while we were doing different types of therapies and stuff with marbles, where she would just touch a marble at that point and drop it back in the warm water. And when they left, and they're talking about their lives, first year, in graduate school, and they're so excited and all this stuff. And so, no, it wasn't grad school. She was 20, so whatever. They're bachelors. And she looks at me and she's just sobbing. And she's like, this is where I'm going to hopefully not lose it. Mom, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this. One of the therapists that was attending her said, these patients have half a life. When that woman said that to me, it was like, she killed me because she's 20, And so Bree tells me that, and I'm at the foot of her bed, and she's in her bed and she's crying. And that push down that I talked about, it disappeared. Not to be dramatic, but I really did. I fell to my knees at the head of her bed, and I just prayed. I said, I don't understand. What was all this for? And I'm looking up, and I look at her, and we're both wiping away tears. And all of a sudden, she's moving her arm. At this point, I felt like I was in some space-time continuum where what I was seeing, I was registering incorrectly because my brain was saying it's not possible. And she turns her wrist, and her hand literally was a fist. And she starts slowly. You know what I mean? It was like a slow motion thing. And I'm watching her open her hand, and then she extends the elbow, which she had only done at night, and then she raises it up in the air. And we're just looking at each other. Now we're crying uncontrollably. And I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? Because my logical brain, with all of my studies and everything that I was saying, how many times we were doing it, was saying, this isn't supposed to be happening. I call my husband crying again, poor guy, in the middle of business. What happened? Is something worse? I go, no, you have to come home right away. You're not going to believe it. She's moving her hand. She's able to move her wrist. She's functioning. And he comes home. Now, an important note scientifically, we had stopped all of those narcotics at that, just as that guy had told us to do. So I believe that also had something to do with this. But my takeaway is that it would not have had these results without the intervention from angels. I just don't think so. I did it here at home because I didn't want her to have it on her record that she had gone into, rehab for detoxing. So we did it at home for a few days, which was also tough. But so my takeaway was, this was angelic intervention. 100%. I personally can't deny it. I know people who are watching me this don't, and it does sound so dramatic, because even as I'm saying it, if I were somebody watching this, I'd be like, it's just like a Hollywood movie or something, or a Hallmark. I don't know. She still suffers with it. She's 34 years old now, so it's 14 years. She is presently doing, red light therapy, anything new that comes on, with the exception of any type of drugs. That what seems to work for them or for her is the exercise, constantly keeping that in movement. But yeah, she'll have days where she's walking and she's got a bottle of water and her whole arm will just say, I'm not, and she drops the water bottle. It used to happen to her the first 5 years, where she'd be driving and she'd call us, my arm stopped working. So it's been a progression of 14 years. Stress affects it. Barometric pressure. At one point, my husband and I were leaving Miami because we get huge storms all the time. We'll move someplace where it doesn't happen as often. But incredibly resilient. She leads a full and happy life. She does marketing, which allows her flexibility. So if she has a day that she doesn't feel well, it's okay. And she doesn't have that added stress. But 100% for me, that was angelic intervention. There was more than one in that room. Even my husband, when we came back that first night, he's like, that was very weird in there, wasn't it? It felt surreal. I'm like, yeah, that's the word, surreal. Now, believe me, I don't know, the viewers, but I asked myself, well, why then, when this and this and this and this, happen, or this person and that person, where were you? What was that about? I have no idea, and I don't have any answers. I'm only here to share my experience and judge it for what it is or what it's worth. Or maybe use it to trigger something that may have taken place in your life that you dismissed. And if you think about it long enough, you're going to be like, yeah, that was really strange, the way I avoided that accident and how what should have taken place didn't. So I think they're around. I think they're constantly helping us. I think, at least with me, they have to be sublimely patient, because I'm more like, where are you? Where were you? What's happening? You know what I mean? Yeah, the human in all of us. But I think when they're allowed to intervene, and when a lesson maybe has already been learned, or there's more to be gained by healing that person, I really don't know what the recipe is, but it exists. I'm convinced that it exists. That is my most powerful angel story to share. That's it.
Wow. And so when you were stretching your daughter's arm out at nighttime, was she awake or she slept through that?
Nope, she slept through the whole thing. And I do hypnosis. So when you're doing hypnosis with somebody, you're looking for cues, or when you're a nurse and you can tell when I'm in pain without your patient telling you. She was like completely relaxed.
Wow.
Because I would go in there at night, and even with the morphine, and they had her on mega doses, you could see that her system was still under pain. And she would have nightmares that she was in pain, that there was a wolf eating her arm. And like I said, it's a horrible disease. Back then, I remember we went to the head of the University of Miami here, and he said, Jeannette, with your notebook and what you have recorded, you know more about this than we do. Because we told him what we were doing with Brink, that we got rid of the narcotics and we got rid of all of that. And she was just doing physical therapy. I don't know. It's 14 years later. I do know that my brother's best friend back at the time had a wife, and she had that. She got her hand stuck in an elevator door, and it crushed the same nerves. And that was, yeah. And she was just, poor thing, she was studying to be a surgeon. She was a brilliant, beautiful person, and that happened to her, and it just destroyed her life, because the more of these medications you take, the higher your threshold, the more you got to take, right? So here she was, 20, 25 years of morphine and all this other stuff. It was just a horrible end for her. It was end of life for her. It was bad. And there aren't a lot of very uplifting stories related to CRPS, is what they call it. But I think that angels are there. And I remember praying for them and saying, can you then maybe help globally with what is this illness, so that it doesn't keep happening to people? So
yeah, more awareness around it, and probably a better process of treatment. But do you think maybe that your intention, your absolute unconditional loving intention towards your daughter to help her, played a big factor in that angel intervention?
I hear what you're saying, that resolved, because like I never even cussed at Brianna. And Michelle will tell you, like, when I'm casual or whatever, I can be a little potty mouth. But I never said shut up to her. I mean, I was really very conscientious of what parents, the effect that we have on our children, on how they see themselves, how then they are allowed to go through life joyfully and spread that with other human beings. So I and then I think, well, how many parents do not have that identical intention, that I mean, kids that are dying of cancer that are 4 and 5, they deserve the same thing. So I mean, I have no idea why her, why us, why, like I said, no recipe. I have no idea why. I have no idea. But I think the intentions, I have to believe as a parent, that any parent that goes through anything even remotely serious like this, where your kid is even sick, has to feel the same way, and that would also call that energy to them. So I don't think there was anything particularly special. I really, my husband would go to church, but I had my own way of things. So it's not like I was doing my time or giving them 10% of what I was making. So far from it. You're far from that. Just super normal human being, where I think all religions, could get along and coexist a little bit better, and that was not originally God's intention, but that's a whole other thing. So no, I can't answer that. Like I said, all I can do is share the story that I know that it happened, and to ask people, again, think of your own history. And as you're thinking, it's like, I know, as Kim was telling her story, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that accident that I had. And you might recall. And if you entertain that thought that they are there helping you and protecting you, interesting where your mind will go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny that you say that, because this was a similar conversation on the previous Angel Encounters episode. And it was so interesting, again, with Karen's story, Kim's story about that intervention. And again, I'm curious to see what the future holds for your daughter, because each one of those mediums that had that intervention have gone on to do amazing things. Amazing. and change
That's
other
funny.
people's
Funny you
lives.
should say that. So she went back to school. Um, I said, listen, just start the year over. No, I'm going to make it up over the summer. I go, Bree, that's a lot. She did it. So she graduated on time. And then she went on to work with autistic children. And this is like a volunteer thing, something that brings her joy with horses. Gosh, I wish I remembered the names. I could give them a plug. Whispering Mains here in Miami. And so they work with autistic children, with Vietnam vets, people who suffered from post-traumatic stress syndrome. There's something magical about horses, so majestic. And if you see these horses with these kids, like I would go and watch her, she would bathe. I think I said this on some video where I was complaining about her. We had 2 dogs. She would never bathe them. I go, wait, you bathed the horse today, but you can't manage to bathe our 2 dogs? Why can I can't compute this. But yeah, so she went from that to going to this place and volunteering there and bathing horses and picking up the stalls to then actually working with the children with the horses. She got stepped on by a horse. I mean, they're big animals. So she does beautiful work, and she still does. She does their marketing, plus continuing to volunteer with the autistic children when they're there and they have stuff that they're doing. So yeah, interestingly enough, she's kind of turned it around, but that wasn't her plan. Her plan was, I love horses. She needed like another thing to like bring her joy in her life. And the autistic children were there. That's the program that Whispering Maine has. And so she is all about that and constantly trying to get, monies for them because it's a nonprofit. So yeah, that's what she does. The marketing that she does brings her cash flow to pay her bills. And that's like her joy spot, is what I call it.
Yeah.
Her happy
And
place.
and right there she is making a difference to the world, to children that need it, or individuals, whether they're children, adults, regardless, that need that type of therapy, that type of help, assistance. And there she is right there and helping that, what did you call it? Whispering Mains?
Whispering Mains.
Yeah, that business
Thanks.
to
Thank
grow
you.
and prosper. Yeah, through the fact that she's had this experience. It's just incredible, that intervention. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And, can we even say, go on further with that, that your story may reach someone else or others around the world who are sufferers of this? Do you call it a disease, or what is
It's
it?
complex regional pain syndrome. Some people will get it. Let's say you have a ski accident and they put a boot on you or a cast on you, and the nerve is compressed for a particular amount of time in a way that whenever that object is removed, it's still like that. With her, what happened was the IV kind of slipped out of her vein a little bit. She was complaining of feeling a fluid in her arm. So we called in the nurse and the doctor, and they ran a saline solution, and they said, no, it's fine. And she goes, I still feel weird. It feels like it's not like it's water inside my arm. And they left it in there. So that's what happened. It was supposed to be within the canal of the vein, and it wasn't. So it hit the nearby nerve and burned it.
Yeah, okay.
Happens more times that, like, when people say IV, I'm like, oh, be careful. If it hurts, and I didn't know any of this, nobody does. At least we didn't. I knew it later. I mean, there have been cases that have taken and they've won and whatever. But the point is, if they put an IV in you and it hurts and it doesn't feel right, you have every right. They're supposed to. If you say this hurt, they're supposed to take it out. But here's the reality. They've got 5 other patients that they're backed up on. They already tried 2 different times with you. That's the real story of our healthcare. But that's what they should have done. They should have removed it and put in another one. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. But regardless, you know what I mean? Like your story, and it's unfortunate that it did happen. And like you say, it probably happens more often than what we know about. Could help someone else out there, with what you've tried, and just your entire story, from seeing specialists, the drugs, the physiotherapy. I mean, there may be some people that haven't thought of that, or they've been told one way and one way only. But now they can see through your story, there may be other options.
Yeah.
And one of them may be the power of prayer, so to speak.
Yeah.
Something so, I want to say something so simple, something that's been around forever and ever and a day. Yet do we use it often enough?
It's a very painful, tragic, like I said, suicide rate is really high. The friend of my husband's that I referenced, she ended up crushing narcotics and injecting them into her femoral artery, down the thigh, until that vein couldn't handle it anymore. And he found her with a tourniquet on her thigh, bleeding out in the bathroom.
Yeah. Wow.
But
I think it's just amazing.
When you're in that kind of agony, though, too, you're desperate.
Mm. Yeah. Go on, Kim.
I think it's amazing that you were the tool and the conduit for this energetic field in your daughter's room. I think that was amazing. You know, you were part of that and you experienced it and you just went through the motion. I think you were guided, and definitely there was uh, something beautiful there, present in your daughter's room.
Yeah, definitely a very special life event, and just very fortunate that she's doing well. Again, my takeaway is I'd like everybody, like I'd like Kim to get her eyesight back and etc. But for whatever reason, stuff doesn't work that way, and we all have things to learn. But I think it helps there, the silver lining of angels who can ask for more.
Yeah.
Try to teach people that they're angels. We can call on them. We can write them letters. We can, if guardian angels, if you want something, ask for it, like Kim was doing. Angel do this, angel do that. If you don't give them directions or tell them what you want, then they can't give it to you. So I think it's calling them out and making them real. And I think that the love that you felt for your daughter is part of the healing. And I think that love inspires angels to do what they need to do. And you're also the desperation feelings, which is you're powerless. There's not much you can do, but then they gave you the reality of fixing it. And you did. And then you showed your husband, which I'm sure his brain was, wow, what the heck is going on? But I just think that the love, and now your daughter's doing it, and she's passing on the spirit. She's passing on the angels. Now she's being an angel on earth. So she's being an angel to the children, and then they can take it with them. So the angels, they spark a lot of love and a lot of light, and they are there for us. We just have to say, hey, guardian angel. A lot of them don't believe they have a guardian angel, but I know we do. And I think that was a beautiful experience. God bless you for the love. And your daughter sounds like she's a spitfire. She's gonna go forward no matter what. And she
Thank
can
you. Yeah, she's nonstop, living her life, and it's been rough because we lost my husband 5 years ago. So it was like, wow, really, another huge, but yeah. And again, so I could say, where were you guys that night? Yeah, but special. It was a real special event, and you're right. The thing about calling them out, I got to tell you this, because the first time I heard that or read that, I'm like, wait a minute, is there an angel? And they see that I'm like, I'm holding on by a rope and about to like fall into the abyss. Shouldn't they just kind of, oops, my light went out, swoop down and help me? So as I'm letting go of that rope, I gotta go, hey, help! I'm letting go of the rope. It's a little hard for me to like get that seriously, but I keep hearing from people, yes, you have to call out to them. You have to ask them to help you with the surgery that's coming up or with your kid that's going through this or that. I keep hearing that, but again, like my human side is like if I see that my kid is needing something, they don't need, oh honey, you dive in, right? You don't wait for the child, and sometimes we know it before they do. Come on, tell me, mom, this isn't that true? And so we dive in there and tell them what they need to do before they even verbalize it. So, but I guess I don't know. That's part of angel law. I don't know. Again, I admit I have no idea. what the rule book is or how this is supposed to go down, I can just attest to what happened and stories that I hear from other people that are miraculous. They're just amazing. Yeah.
Well, I know that I read a lot of books by Doreen Virtue, and I also read angel cards. And I've done it in classrooms where everybody's looking for a little piece of spirit. And they're never wrong. They're always positive, and they always go in the direction of love and light. So I think there are ways we can introduce the angels to people, and I think, you have to do this before this happens, but you really have to talk to them. You have to say, hey, I like what I need. And you may not get everything, but you get something, and they always answer. And I just think I've done that for my whole life with my clients, and then they have their angels, and then they can use it, and then they become empowered to do what they need to do for their sons. I've seen people who are mentally ill go from somebody who wasn't even half a time functioning to a fully functioning person by the intervention that his mom had with the prayers and with the angels. I've seen it happen. My insides just say, you have to say this to him. You have to say that. And I'm like, God just gives me the power, and the angels are there with them. And I've also seen angels at Reiki healings. So they're there too. An angel will say, to the Reiki person, move over, let me get in.
So, I know you spent this much money on all those courses, but I'm going to do this. Yeah.
And I agree. Horses are an amazing animal. And I think there's a whole bunch of magic, wisdom, and angelosity in them. And that they are just magnificent animals. And they're almost human.
Karen, did you say angelosity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm like, I love that word.
I think definitely. Yeah, you coined that word, angelosity.
Yeah. That. And I love when you said everybody's looking for little pieces of spirit. I was like, that's so true. I love that. Oh, wow.
Feel powerful. Everybody wants to feel like they got something, and the upper world and spirit world heard them.
Yeah, definitely. And it does exactly like you say, Jeanette. Like, you'd think, isn't it just obvious I need help? Hello, can you not sense this, see this, feel this? What? Are you just going to stand there and watch? Do we have to state the obvious? But yeah, and maybe.
Haven't you guys, Kim, haven't you heard you need to ask them to come in? I keep hearing that, like from different people, different sources.
Well,
and it's kind of hard. It's weird trying to get used to that concept, because like I actually asked the angel to give me some money, and I won $700 raffle prize. I was like, thank you.
Wow.
I'm not asking for $1 million. I just need a little. I said I need help to pay this bill, and I got $700. I'm like,
yeah. All right. So now we're finding multiple uses that could be very handy, very, very handy in our everyday life. And sometimes, is it really that simple? Just ask and be open to receiving, because if you're holding doubt, boom, there it is, that brick wall in front. They can't get through that wall if you're holding up that, that doubt. So believe. When you ask, feel that intention. And maybe it is that simple. Maybe that's what I'm not doing.
Maybe hard breathing.
Whoa, wait, snap. So, because you started this whole thing saying, la, 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 I don't really believe in them. Maybe they're light. Maybe they're this. Michelle. So, we are all about experimenting and trying new things, maybe for like the next 3 months, because somebody said from 1 to 3 months. So let's give it the whole 3. Why not? Help, go for 4 months and start asking. Can it just be angels in general, Karen, or we got to specify a particular one?
And intuition. I would say intuition and angels.
Right. Well, maybe I need to
yourself a script and ask.
Yeah,
and we want to know what happened.
I'll have a logbook, a notebook of all the things that I ask for, and let's see time frames, and, when they all come to fruition.
I'll bet you if you write
And it can be small things too, it can be small things. Like, I mean, I hear of people asking for an angel to find that perfect parking spot, and it opens up for them.
my angel.
Yeah, the old parking angels. Yeah,
it works. It works.
yeah, that's it.
The angels are around my son because whenever he has some issues, whenever I feel he's gonna do harm to himself, little thing taps me on the shoulder, and it's like, "Uh-oh, you got to get up there," or tells me to go do this, go ask this, go say this, and I don't know why I'm saying it, but I say it, and it makes sense to the people I'm saying it to. And even though I do mediumship that way, I'm like, "Is it something to do with this?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Okay, well, something told me to say that." And it's the spirit working, and there's always coincidences, and they're always positives. So I would just say it can't hurt. It actually can help.
Yeah, you've always been very openly, I don't want to say always, but since I've known you, Karen, very openly guided by angels. And I love that because you have that pure surrender. I want to say surrender and faith and trust. And you just go ahead and say it. You go ahead and do it. It's almost like spontaneous. Boom. What's Karen doing? Oh, angels. It's the angels.
I put the sand, I go up, and I just think it's a sacred honor.
Yeah.
And I try to make sure it's very well kept quiet and kept peaceful and kept clean.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, some amazing stories. So there you go. So that's some inspiration, some advice. And obviously I've got to swallow that pill as well and and take on that advice and start practicing, what everybody else is preaching and see for myself, I guess. It's funny because I was in another episode with someone who was talking about signs and all these signs that she has from the spirit world and angels. And I said, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't seem to see these signs. Like, am I just not paying attention? I get off the interview. I walk out of this room and into my office, which was closed up. The blinds were still shut, so it was dark in there. And I have these fairy lights around my computer screen, and they were turned on. And I'm thinking, I didn't have them on. And I yelled out to my husband, have you been in the office? Did you turn these on? And he's like, why would I do that? And I'm like, I don't know, because you just do random weird stuff sometimes. So
you say that to him. That's funny, right?
Yeah. And he's like, no, I haven't been in there. I haven't been in there. And I'm like, okay, that's not. And I go to turn them off, okay, at the switch, and they're already off.
Whoa! But drum roll! Wow!
Yeah. But the lights are on and they are switched off.
Okay, so question: did you just take that, like I said, just throw that into the back of your head and continue with all the million things you had to do and not really contemplate it?
Well, I'm like, okay, if you really want me to believe, show me something else. Show me more.
Okay. Yeah, they might. They just might do that.
Yeah. And then there was the time when, because we talk about seeing is believing. And I think a lot of people are all about the seeing is believing until you've got that horrified, every hair is standing on end, then it's real. So I'm standing in the kitchen and we've got these really heavy wooden Venetian blinds and it's a huge sliding door window and the blinds swung up and then swung back down with this huge crash. And then they were moving backwards and forwards, almost like as if a huge, like really strong gust of wind had come in and, blown them up and they've gone back down again. And I thought, oh, geez, that was a big gust of wind anyway. And I looked around, the door's closed. I look outside, not a breath of wind. It was dead still. Nothing else is moving. This is one of the biggest, these are the biggest blinds in the room, the heaviest. They're wooden, heavy from floor to ceiling. They're heavy. And they've gone up and down. And I mean, not just a little bit. It was loud. to the point where I was doing something and then I looked up like, geez, that was a bit, dramatic. And the door wasn't even open. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I see that. All right. So, yeah, there's proof. There's proof. But then, that logical part of me goes, okay, but was that an angel? Was that just spirit? What are you trying to prove?
Ask them to give you something specific that is like, so in that situation, thinking back now, you can say, okay, so if it's angels, hit me 2 more times with that, or give me 2 other things this week, something. Okay. Come up with a code.
All right. We'll throw that out
there. Angel Morse code.
Yeah. Or it'll be so obvious, I can't miss it. Like a feather just falls straight in front of my face or something like that. Something where I'll be like, okay, so we're throwing that out there because I want 100% undeniable. Here I am, 3 mediums trying to convince the medium. So
I'm gonna keep a journal here. I mean, I do journal a lot, so I'm gonna specifically do an angel diary. Like a request and what comes through.
We should do that for say 8 weeks, and then we can come back on.
Ask your watchers to do it too. Anybody who's watching this, everybody keep a journal, and let's see where everybody's at in like 4 or 5 months.
Definitely.
So we can do statistical analysis because there's me, right? And see how many people, what they've got.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
Yeah. I want stats. I want to see. Yeah, exactly. Even if you have to do a graph, do that. I don't care. No, don't go to that extreme, but document somewhere on your phone, in a book. I want dates. I want times. I want what the event was. That's what I want. And I will do the same. I promise I will do the same. Because that was amazing. And that just happened 2 weeks ago, the blinds, the Venetian blinds moving like that was about 2 weeks ago. That was it. And, okay, so there was another thing. So last week.
Well, that's our mind. You think of something and it brings you something. That's why I said to people,
exactly. So last week I walk out of my office, it's daytime. I'm talking to my husband about something random. And the robot vacuum cleaner, the robo vacuum cleaner, starts to say, okay, I will vacuum the whole house and then I will mop. Cleaning now. And I'm like, what is it doing? Why is it doing that? It's never done that. We've had it for years. And it comes out of its little house and it starts vacuuming the whole house. And I'm like, no, go back home. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. This is not right. It's possessed. My husband's going, see, this is you. Now, I'm just going to say, never since we've owned that have I had it on a setting which you have to manually change to vacuum separately and then mop the house separately. Never have I had it on that setting. I always have it on vacuum and mop at the same time. Never. And I do room by room. Never the whole house. Ever, never. You have to manually do it. Just saying. Anyway, was it angels? Was it spirit? Was the vacuum cleaner possessed? Did it suck up an entity? I don't know. We'll never know. They say create a vacuum. I don't think they mean that literally, but that's just what happened. So who knows? Who knows? See, and here I am, the biggest skeptic of everyone, the biggest skeptic. But I will document. I promise I will. And I will be asking angels. I promise.
Okay.
We will revisit this. I will make a note in my diary, even in 6 months' time, to come back. The 3 of us, or the 4 of us, the 3 of you guys coming back on. Okay, what did we find? What happened?
You got it.
Yeah?
You got it. Yep. I'm
Are we in? Are we all in?
All in.
I'm in. I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna have fun.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. See what unfolds in any episode could go anywhere. We just don't know what happens in an interview. It's just so random.
Unexpected, unlimited. There it is.
I love it. I love it. Oh, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so much fun. And, it really has been a roller coaster of goosebumps, crying, emotional, happy, joyful, all mixed into one. Just beautiful stories and such inspiration and proof that each one of you is meant to be here to share, to change lives, and to spread your stories far and wide for others to hear, the ripple effect. So thank you so, so much. Now, Karen, let's start with where can people find you?
They can find me on the internet. I'm spiritcoachkaren.com. I'm also at 708-352-6587, my counseling service and my spiritual healing. And they will find me there. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody who wants to talk and to open up anything that needs to be said so that people can be helped, healed, and loved by themselves.
Thank you, Karen.
Velocity.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I love it. So I'll put everybody's links in the comments below. Kim, where can people find you?
AskMediumKim.com. And you can text or call me at 708-928-5002.
Fantastic. And you're on Facebook and you're also on Instagram?
I am, and you can find that link from the website, to Facebook. Yeah, Ask Medium Kim. I have a Facebook page.
Yeah, okay. Jeannette.
I am at JeannetteConnects.com website, Facebook, Instagram. Yep. And if you look out at the stars, you'll see a constellation. Okay. Well, that will really blow marketing away, right?
I know, right? She's spreading herself far and wide. But anyway.
and you can catch me on the mediums table along with these other beautiful and talented
Exactly. That's it. Exactly. Karen, did you have something to add?
I did. I was going to say on Instagram, my name is Rabbis 101.
Oh, okay.
That for you.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right. I'll definitely, everything will be in the description below, along with Karen's books as well, which you can find on Amazon and other places. Karen will give me the information. Don't worry. Settle down, people. Don't panic. Let's not create a stampede. All righty. So I will see you ladies. Well, definitely in 6 months, we have an appointment. But on on other panels and interviews, and I look forward to seeing you back again very, very soon. Thanks, ladies. To view the show notes, head over to themediumstable.com.au. If you want to watch these episodes, head over to our YouTube channel, The Mediums Table Podcast.